Afternoon, everyone. It is the beginning of Thanksgiving week, and I want to take the first part of this video to acknowledge the good men in my life. Starting, of course, with my dad, who taught me invaluable things like confidence, courage, and the importance of learning. My father was a history professor. For a long time, I thought I might be a history major. I wanted to follow in his footsteps. I did sort of, kinda. I did become a college. I did. Oh, good Lord, what just came out of my mouth? All right. If I were more skilled in the art of vlogging, I would just cut that out. But that's one of the reasons why, although I am an English professor, I never correct people's grammar when they're speaking. It's so easy to slip up, even though you know better. Well, I did become a teacher. It's just my subject was English instead of history. But my love for history and historical fiction came from him largely, and from both him and my mom, I learned something else important, which is an example of a strong marriage and monogamous commitment. If I were to describe myself politically, particularly nowadays, I would probably describe myself as liberal. But in this one respect, I'm a little bit on the conservative side, and that is that while I never wanted kids, I think that when the good Lord passed out maternal instinct, I was probably in the bathroom. But I did tell myself that if I was ever going to get married, I wanted a marriage like my folks had. And I wanted a partnership, a life partnership with someone I could grow old with and someone who would grow old with me. And that's what I found. And so the second man I want to acknowledge is my husband. And when people talk about what really makes a good marriage, what makes a solid bond, one thing that I almost never hear talked about is actually the most important thing, at least to me, which is, do you enjoy being together? Do you enjoy each other's company? Do you like listening to each other? I know that every couple gets on each other's nerves from time to time, but on the whole, as a general rule, do you like being together? Not just in the bedroom, but just in general. Do you feel good because that person is beside you? Do you feel proud when that person is beside you? And my answer to all those questions is yes. And that's why I really do think that I have found someone who will grow old with me and whom I will grow old with. That's what I've always wanted in a marriage. I remember once reading a Baptist pastor claiming that one of the distinctions between men and women was what they wanted out of marriage. He claimed that women are looking for love in a marriage, while men are looking for respect. Well, I'm going to call BS on that one, because when you're talking about a relationship between two adult human beings, I don't think you can talk about love without talking about respect. I do not think that love without respect exists between two adult human beings. And that's what I feel lucky to have found. I am thankful for it. And they're not the only ones. I've always had good men in my life. There have been friends, friends who've performed with me, who've read with me, who've learned with me, friends who have encouraged me and mentored me in my writing life, who have started out as my husband's friends but have become mine as well. And they aren't, because these are good men as distinct from nice guys. I know you've all heard about nice guys, right? Nice guys who are only nice to you because they expect something in return. And in Gen Z parlance, or actually millennial and Gen Z parlance, what the nice guy is usually looking for is sex. That if they become friends with a woman, they're expecting it to turn into something more, and when it doesn't, they feel cheated. That's the nice guy. And this is not what these men are. This is not what they have been to me. They're genuinely good men. And why am I talking about them today? Because we need them. Because we need them more than ever in the world that we are living in. We are having a gender crisis. More and more, we see polarization between the genders. I see this in younger generations, or generations at least younger than myself in particular. And it makes me sad. On the one hand, there is the manosphere, and this is online. We hear about it online. It's mostly online, but it's everywhere. A kind of hive of misogyny led by men who think that because they are men, they should have the privilege of controlling women. They want to take from women without giving anything. Some of them don't even want to really take anything from women, but just relish their imagined superiority over women. I'm talking about men like Andrew Tate, and also men like Nick Fuentes, who famously said after the 2024 election, "Your body, my choice." And then one of the more despicable examples of this manosphere is actually a pastor named Joel Webbon, who cloaks his misogyny in a gown of faith and has certain policies, like he never lets his wife read any book that he has not read beforehand. She always gets the book after him because he doesn't ever want to be in a position where she might know something he doesn't. Also, somebody who does not believe that women should have the right to vote because, quote, "we don't let 5-year-olds vote." And then you have your Ben Shapiro's, your Matt Walsh's. I have joked from time to time that I don't think anybody has ever seen Matt Walsh and Joel Webbon in the same room because they look that much alike, and perhaps they're actually the same guy, just somehow managing to split themselves in two. And these men have the ear of people in power, which makes them particularly frightening. These are men who look over at the way women are treated in Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan and think to themselves, we really ought to get some of that over here. And then you also have young women who have come to perceive men in general as predators. And they see singleness as the default now because they've come to see a respectful and respectable, because if you're respectful, then you are respectable. So I guess that wasn't as much of a slip of the tongue as I thought. But a respectful life partnership, they see that as impossible. They don't see that in the world around them. And if you can't see it, you can't be it. So we live in a political climate that encourages us to wink at misogyny, and even to the point of including sexual assault and abuse of minors as no big deal. I mean, after all, they're teenagers. They're basically young women, right? This is the kind of world we have right now, and I believe that this gender polarization, this wave of misogyny we're experiencing right now, is an evil. And the surest way for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing. Now, the good men in my life, by and large, have spoken out against this kind of thing, against this evil. They've spoken against it on social media as well as in real life, and I'm grateful beyond measure for those men and for their willingness to stand up for the women in their lives and support women. But more good men need to be louder. And women also. I'm not saying that all of this is on men. We need to be louder along with them. We can't overcome hostility with more hostility. It's only going to get worse if we do this. Only in tandem, only if we work together, will we have the power to drown out the voices of the manosphere and proclaim that every person has value. Men, women, and everything in between. Thank you.